Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to your science lesson for today. So first off, I'm going to take my glasses so you can see my eyes. So today we are going to be talking about some vocabulary that was introduced in our book yesterday. Why do leaves change color? So we introduced this book yesterday. It's an informational text that teaches us the science about why leaves change color. In the book, it talked about different types of leaves and why and how they change color. Now, we are going to talk about two words that relate to this topic, and those words are shape and separate. Okay, today we are going to do a science lesson, and we are going to talk about how we can use these words when talking about leaves and the science behind their shape and how they separate from trees. So we are going to need some materials for this activity. The first thing that you will need to do is you will need to go outside, and hopefully you live around some trees. You live around a place where you have different types of trees. So Miss Mason is currently at school right now, and I found some leaves from two different types of birch trees. So the leaves that I found are birch tree leaves, and I will show you in the book what kind of leaves I found. So I found some black birch leaves, and I found some gray birch leaves. Now, depending on where you live, you might find some leaves from different types of trees. And so when you go outside to collect your leaves, try to find leaves with different shapes. So shapes is one of our vocabulary words. And the word shape means the form or outline of an object. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is to go outside and find some leaves. I would get maybe 4 or 5. So pause the video right now to go get those leaves. All right, I hope you're back. If you're not back yet and you're just going to watch this video, just follow these steps. So I went outside the school and I found 2 different types of leaves, and I wanted to find some leaves that had different shapes. When I'm talking about shapes, I'm not necessarily talking about squares and triangles and stars. I'm talking about how those leaves look. The shape of leaves can talk about how big or small they are. So how big or small, how wide or narrow. I can talk about the outline. So maybe the outline is pointy on the leaves, or maybe they're smooth, or maybe they are round. The outline is round. So our outlines can be pointy, smooth, round. Sometimes leaves might have been crushed. So you could talk about the shape of a crushed leaf, or you can maybe talk about the shape of a leaf that's been torn. We can also talk about the veins in a leaf. So the veins is where the nutrients from that chlorophyll, that sugar that helps the tree, the veins are where we find that chlorophyll, that sugar. So what we are going to do is we are going to take some leaves. I have some different leaves right here. And what I am going to do is I am going to use a piece of paper. Let me get my paper. The piece of paper and a crayon. Okay. We are going to do a leaf rubbing of our leaves so we can talk about their shapes. So Miss Mason did a practice round, and this is what it will look like. What we are going to do is we are going to take 2 or 3 of our leaves. I'm going to find leaves that have different shapes. I'm going to find some that have different sizes, different widths, different outlines, and I am going to arrange them. If you see right here, I have some leaves in front of me, and I'm going to arrange them to where they have some space. Okay. And what I'm going to do next is first off, make sure that you are on a flat surface. So you will probably want to do this at your kitchen table, or if you have wood floors, do it on wood floors. You don't want to do it on carpet. You don't want to do it in grass, and you also don't want to do it on concrete. So what I'm going to do next, after I've laid my leaves out how I want them to, I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to lay it flat on top of my leaves and press down a little bit. All right, so I have my paper lying flat over my leaves and I'm going to push down a little bit. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crayon and I'm not going to draw like this. I'm not going to color like this. I'm going to lay it on its side like that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to color over all the places where my leaves are lying under the paper so I can get the outline of their shapes. And I want to make sure that I press down kind of hard so I can get that shape. Oh, you can start to see the shapes of the leaves. Okay, oh, one of my leaves went rogue. And I'm pressing down so you can see the veins, the outline, and the overall shape of the leaf. All right. All right, so let's see what I've got. So I told you that I have found 2 different types of leaves outside of the school. So looking at my outlines, what do you notice about the outlines of my leaves, and what do you notice about the outline of your leaves? I notice that the outline of this leaf is pointy. So the outline of this leaf is pointy. I also notice that this leaf is taller than the rest of my leaves, right? So this leaf right here is taller than the rest. I notice that my 2 leaves in the middle are the smallest, but I also notice that this leaf is the only leaf that had smooth edges. So this was the leaf that I used, and see it is yellow, and it was my only leaf that had smooth edges. This leaf was different because first, it was the smallest intact leaf that I could find, and it's kind of a brownish yellow, but it's like this leaf where it is pointy and narrow, but it is smaller. So this is small, narrow, and has a pointy outline. This leaf right here was tall, narrow, with a pointy outline. This leaf's shape was small, with a smooth outline and kind of wide. And this leaf was unique because it's round. It has a round shape. But if you look really close at the outline, my outline is kind of round, but pointed at the same time. So every leaf is different, right? So every leaf is unique by itself. We also have veins in our leaves. So we could have leaves from the same kind of tree, but each leaf is going to be unique because the veins will be different. They'll be different based on the shape of the leaf. So I can't wait to see in Seesaw. Send me a picture in Seesaw of your leaf rubbings that you did. And maybe tell me in the audio, tell me in a video or an audio what you noticed about the shape of your leaves. So one of our vocabulary words for this book is shape. The other one is separate. And separate means to be apart from something. If I separate this paper, that means I am splitting it or taking parts away. Just like when we have talked about separating groups in math. So when we are talking about fall and we're talking about leaves, we hear the word separate when we are talking about when leaves fall off of a tree. They separate from the tree. That means to move away or to fall off. So we can separate leaves from trees on our own, but in the fall, leaves separate all by themselves when they don't have any more sugar or water to give the tree. So when the leaf separates from the tree and it falls on the ground, can it get any more nutrients? Can it get any more water? No, because it's not connected to the tree anymore. During the fall, we see less of the sun and we see leaves in piles when they separate on the ground. So when they separate from the tree, that tree is done getting what it needs from the leaves, but then the leaves stop getting the food that it needs. So is it going to is it going to live for very long on the ground? No. But fallen leaves are important because when they start to die like this one is on the side, it provides nutrients to the soil in the ground. So, I hope that we have learned a lot about the words shape and separate. I also hope that you have learned about noticing the shapes of leaves and their outlines and their sizes. Don't forget to send a picture of your leaf rubbing to me in Seesaw. And also feel free to give me a video or an audio describing the shapes of your leaves. All right, Smarties, keep that growth mindset. Do some exploring outside for some unique leaves, and I will see you all very soon. Happy learning.